Hello, friends. So, after a short interval, we are back again. I'm Manobina Chakraborty, welcoming all of you to the 32nd episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. And it's actually our anniversary episode. We started this Facebook Live program exactly a year ago. It was 28th November 2020, and the first ever guests were Dr. Stephen Shore from New York and Ms. Lorna Wallace from Glasgow, Scotland. It's been an interesting journey with Let's Talk Inclusion so far, and I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the 41 esteemed guests who join us in this program from all over the world and helped I for Inclusion to grow. Let's take a look at the posters of the episode so far. Yes, down memory lane. To continue with this journey of inclusion, I welcome today Mrs. Vijaya Vaithilingam, an accomplished educationist with 40 years of experience in teaching and school administration. The most importantly, she is an inclusive education leader based in Navi Mumbai, India. Welcome to Let's Talk Inclusion, Mrs. Vaithilingam.
Thank you,
May I
Manu.
request you May I request you to give a brief introduction of your life and work, please?
Yes, I'm happy to be here, Manobina, and happy to see a young person like you so passionate about inclusive education. Good evening to all. Well, about myself, I am a, born into a simple South Indian family, brought up and educated in Kolkata. And I began my teaching career way back in 1982 when we moved to Navi Mumbai with our 2-year-old daughter. Father Ragnall Multipurpose School and Junior College, Vashi, in Maharashtra, has been my workplace, or Karma Bhumi, you may call it, for the last 40 years. And every little thing that I have done or still doing has been blessed and strengthened by the unstinted support of the school management, my colleagues, the teachers, staff members, parents, students, and the alumni. And I think my school is well known here in Navi Mumbai and Mumbai. It is a state board school, Maharashtra State Board School, a mainstream school managed by the Agnal Ashram Fathers of Pilar Society, Goa. And right now we have a strength of over 5,000 children from the age group of 3 to 17, that is nursery to junior college. And children from all backgrounds. It's a mini India, people speaking various languages, coming from various states, branches of society. And in the midst, we also have children with special needs. And the school's philosophy, the school's culture has been very open to inclusive education, and that is why we have been able to do work here.
Amazing. Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing this. Friends, you may send questions and feedback of this program live in the comment section. We would love to address the queries if you have any. Now, ma'am, I'm really very interested to know your story, how you started your journey, the small steps you must have taken that eventually led to your success story. Could you please share with us?
Okay, I grew up with a hearing impaired sister, and that empathy towards people with special needs and a strong desire to empower them may be a part of my personality, a natural trait. But my actual journey with inclusive education began in Father Ragnall's school about 25, more than 25 years ago, when a child with severe visual impairment walked into the school with his parents and the NAB teacher. Seeing my interest to bond with this child made Father Almeida, our principal then, say, giving a seat in school is not the issue. But do you think, or are you sure that we'll be able to help this child to learn and reach his potential? Will NAB and the parents be effectively collaborating with the school? That question taught me my first lesson in inclusive education. I believe that inclusive education is not about dumping or giving a place to the child in the school. It is about finding the strengths in the child and teaching him the way he or she can learn. Since then, there has been a lot of learning, unlearning, trying new ways, breaking barriers, giving up some of the old ways, networking, collaborating, and all the positive, small positive experiences that we had in this journey became our convictions, and that formed the base of the design for the inclusive education program in this school. And of course, meeting people, sharing my experiences at various conferences, workshops, the continuous process of learning, and that enriched me and the school further because we learned from each other.
So
Talking of
nice.
steps, you said steps. And yes, it's a very, if I try to tell you everything, it's not possible because it's a very long story. And by nature, I'm fond of sharing real life stories. But I'm going to curb that instinct today and basically share with you some of the main steps which I feel is responsible or is necessary for a mainstream school or any school to become inclusive. Manobina, inclusion is the philosophy actually. In the course of life's journey on earth largely depends on your perceptions and the choices that you make. So if you choose to look at every living being as an integral and natural part of a divine design, it is not by chance that we come into this world. It is a design, already designed. If you look at it that way, then every child or every person has got strengths inside. Because a part of an integral part of a divine design cannot be useless or having no strength. So, if we realize that being inclusive means being able to find the strengths in people then we can understand that inclusive education is drawing out those strengths and using those strengths to teach the children. So, if that is inclusion, then definitely it is not an add on to the school. It is intrinsic. It has to be merged into the philosophy, the culture, and the life of the school. The values, the practices, everything have to become inclusive. And I tell you, it empowers all of the people involved. We call our school the Agnel family because we always, our founder fathers have instilled into us to believe that every home is an extension of the school. So naturally, the school is a family, and everything that we do is based on this philosophy of togetherness, of sharing, of caring, and being inclusive. The next very important thing is inclusion is about equity. Recently, I think it was Kavita, her name was Kavita Sharma. Yes,
Yeah.
she had mentioned, and I was thinking that is such an important thing because equity includes fairness and impartiality, but it is not the same as equality. Equality is giving everyone the same thing. Equity is giving everyone what they need to succeed. So when a mainstream school says that this is a mainstream school, children with special needs have to go to special school, I would tell them that that is not equity. Equity means all the children have to get what they need to succeed. And it is not unfair if you give them that in a school, in the classroom. Next, inclusive school is one where the child and only the child is the center of adult collaboration. Nobody else is important. And by adult, I mean all the stakeholders, the parents, the society, the school, teachers, everyone who is associated with the child. And when it comes to children with special needs, it is also the therapists, the doctors, whoever is taking care of that child. If we all collaborate together, then only inclusion succeeds. Another important thing I've discovered or I have realized is that inclusion is a dynamic process. It never stops growing or changing. Now, see, some 10 years ago, we didn't talk about universal design for learning. We didn't talk about neurodiversity. But today we have realized that those terms are making things more clear. And therefore, the school which aims to become inclusive needs to be a learning, nurturing organization. Continuous learning, staff training, staff education, opportunities to grow and expand have to be given. And when it comes to the teachers, definitely. I have met hundreds of teachers, and I have not found I've hardly found teachers who say, no, I don't want to do these things. They always say that if our school management is ready to start, and if we are trained, if we are taught how to do it, we'll definitely do it. So it's not just that you bring children into the school and tell teachers, teach. It is about helping every child to reach his or her potential, to address individual differences, to address multiple intelligences, and then create your lessons. So, naturally, when you come to the actual practical side of inclusion, good child centered, innovative teaching practices are the first prerequisites to inclusion. So you don't have to change your whole school. You have to start with whatever you are doing and alter things, flex things a little to suit the needs of all children. And I think during the pandemic, we saw that happening because teachers couldn't meet their children in the classroom, so they made extraordinary efforts to create their videos and their lessons, and they were so good. And the special educators at that time, they took on the same lesson plans and the same videos to teach the children with special needs in small groups. And another beautiful thing happened was when those lessons were happening, the parents of those children sat with them and learned. So they understood how the teacher is teaching the children. So automatically we sort of connected better, and we made better lessons and more innovative lessons because of the pandemic. So I could say it is a blessing, but now that we have realized that it works, I'm sure it will continue and it will go become better. Another thing I have over the years realized is, in a school, teamwork, team planning, and very specific time allotted to planning what to do in the classroom helps in the process of inclusion. Yes, we all plan in the beginning of the year. In between, we casually exchange what we're doing. But I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of very specific time allotted to planning. And that means moving out of the closed classroom model into a very dynamic, open model where teachers meet regularly and they exchange or share the challenges that they have faced in their own classes, and together as a team they decide what is the best solution to be offered to the child. So in this way the teachers learn from their own experiences, and they also learn from their colleagues' experiences. And if I am not able to find a solution, there may be another teacher who has done something which might help me. So this earlier model where teachers didn't share their lessons with each other, there was a time many years ago when every teacher's notes was her own property and it was never given to anybody else, right? But now we cannot live like that. We have to grow, we have to break all those walls, and we have to work together as a team. And when you work that way, you learn to build on your existing practices, and every good teacher, I believe, knows much more than what she uses in the classroom. So it is not impossible to work with your team and create the teamwork spirit. And for this, administrative leadership at every level is important. So what we did was, we have coordinators in every section, and each coordinator manages or works with a smaller team. The whole school is one team, but there are several smaller teams which work, and they regularly meet and they follow up and they share. Yes.
How many sections do you have in your school, ma'am, for each class?
Each class has 6 sections.
Okay. So you have
Yes.
6 coordinators for each
No,
standard.
each like one standard one, and 2 has got one coordinator. 3, 4, 5 has got one coordinator.
Okay.
6, 7, 8 has another one. 9, 10 has another one. 11, 12 has another one. And they take care of this day-to-day planning. They are very much deeply involved with whatever happens at every stage during the week. And this has helped in not only, like, I'm not talking of only the children with special needs. It has helped the overall working of the school, because what you do well, when you plan your lessons well, you are helping not only the child with special needs, but you're helping the entire class. So it's not that you're doing something specially for some people. And yes, another very important thing we have learned is a healthy collaboration between the special education teachers and the mainstream general teachers work wonders in the inclusive education program. And thanks to fathers, they have appointed special educators, one in the pre-primary, one in the primary, and there's one in the middle school and high school also. So at every level, and then there are counselors, couple of counselors. They all form the school wellness team, and these special educators work in close collaboration. They are full-time teachers. They are full-time teachers in our school, and they work in close collaboration with the mainstream teachers and also the parents. And this collaborative model of general and special education teachers has also helped in doing sustained skill development teaching, or even that what you call the intensive instructions which are necessary. Those things also have improved, and I find that this collaborative model helps in raising the self-esteem and confidence of the children also. Yes, and a very important, and I think this should have been said first, parents of children have to be a part of the school's design for inclusion. If without the parents we cannot do anything, they are not another party. They are part of the school, and we need to learn from them, because many times it is the mother who notices the strength of the child, and when she shares it with us, we are able to help the child better. And sometimes it is the school which notices something, and the mother has not noticed that. Many children in the nursery, if they have any difficulties, it is in the school that we identify, because the mother sees only one child at home, but here we are seeing a group of children. So we can start the early interventions in time. And inclusive education is not only about giving modifications and concessions at the 10th standard and the 12th standard level. It is something that starts much early.
Ma'am, I have a question. How do you accommodate neurodivergent children, neurodiverse groups of children in
You know
your
what? Our
education
school's
module?
admission process, mostly the new admissions come at the nursery level. After that, the admissions are very few, because unless people get transferred or something, they don't leave till there. So when they come in very early, we are able to work with these children with the help of the parents, and we do have uh, provisions for giving them flexible timings to go for their therapies. And we follow up on what, because see, the biological information or what the child really needs cannot be ignored. So I cannot put a hard and fast rule that these children also should attend the school from 7 to 1 o'clock all days of the week, and the parents should take them for the therapies after that. That kind of, you can't have those kind of rules. So it's not, we have to flex a little. And there are kids with yes, we have had a number of them, in fact, with autistic, on the spectrum, the ASD children with ASD. And with along with the parents, we have managed to work with a good number of them, and they've all finished their 10th and 12th. One is a very big artist now. Another one has started his own. He makes chocolates. He sells them, and he's a little businessman. And others are employed. Some of them are doing data entry work, and another one is a doctor's child. He's learned, along with academics, he has developed the skill of printing, and he's learned block printing. and he has started his own enterprise. There are many little stories that have happened, and every little step that we move forward has given us more confidence. And parents, I think, if without their help and their cooperation and their acceptance of this whole journey, we cannot make progress. And the most biggest hurdle that comes in this inclusive education journey is when we talk about examinations, evaluations, and assessments. My God, that is a big block actually. But if alternative teaching and learning methods are acceptable, then why is alternative testing method not acceptable? So I'm glad that now the list of difficulties, disabilities, they say that from 7 it has grown to 21, and the new education policy is going to bring about a lot of change. And I really wish that we move out of this one size fits for all system. We need a system which caters to individual needs. Yes. So I think when we're talking of exams in our school, we have looked at flexibility in exam timetables, flexibility in timings, because if a child is not in a state of mind to write the exam at 7 o'clock in the morning, uh, we allow that child to come in a little late,
And
especially
when
during things.
there are children who have problem in reading and writing, suppose who
Yeah,
dyslexia.
dyslexia. Yes, we have our special. We have a separate block only during the exams. Rest of this time they are in the mainstream classroom, but
So,
during exams we keep
you
them
give
in.
accommodations? Do you give accommodations, writers for them?
Yes, we do. See, writers, we don't start in the smaller classes. The teachers themselves become the writers in the
Okay.
smaller classes. And wherever we can, test them orally, and also modifying the papers a little to suit the needs of the child, along with the special educators. I have sat many times, but now they are able to do it on their own too. So we sit and examine each question and see how to flex it a little so that this child can also write. And reading out the paper for the children, all that we start early wherever it is necessary. We don't
Well,
wait for 10th standard.
well, I personally feel that computerized papers and
Yes.
giving examination through computers
Yes.
should be allowed for these children, and
Yes.
that change should come from.
Yeah, it has, because see, though, if the board is going to allow this child with
Yes,
ASD to answer in the computer, then why
yes,
can't I allow him in the school?
exactly.
So we
Should
do
come
tell
from
parents,
them,
yes,
actually.
we tell the parents to start teaching them to use the computer quite early, like when they are in the fifth. So by the time they come to the eighth, they are able to answer. In fact, there have been children who have answered the exams in school uh, only by using the computer. Of course, calculator wherever it is allowed. And
Okay.
once they get the certificate after the sixth standard, usually children go for their assessment if their difficulties continue up to the sixth standard. Till then, we see how intervention can help. And of course, there are children who come with the certificates very early in because it is very obvious and all that. But some neurodiverse children do not; they are at the risk position.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ma'am,
yes,
does NIOS allow calculator during the board exams?
yes. They allowed if they have dyscalculia. They allow. Now
Only
you
then.
are talking about NIOS. Yes, I will tell
Yes.
you about that too. And when you are talking of allotting special blocks and giving concessions, the school has to be very, very informed about what is possible and what is not possible at the 10th standard level. Because if we give them something which they will not get later, then we are creating a problem. Yes, so
Exactly.
that is important. And
Ma'am,
hmm?
There is a question: do you give them different exam from mainstream school?
It's not
Uh,
different exam, but it is a modified paper wherever it is necessary. We do not change if it is not necessary. But if we find that changing a little will help. I'll give you an example. I'm an English teacher. So if my comprehension has 3 paragraphs and I feel that this child with special needs should be given 1 paragraph at a time instead of 3 paragraphs together, then I change the question paper that way. There may be a child who cannot manage if he sees 5 sums on one page, but if he sees the sum one at a time or one on each page, he can do better. Then I do that for him. So it's like, change according to what they need. But at the same time, don't under what you call expect. Don't think, oh, they can't do and change it. It's not that. We have to first see whether they can do what the others are doing. If they can't, then change what is necessary. And we do these changes with the parents in a conference. We meet them and they are aware that this is being done, and that is how we make it. And when it comes to examinations, we are still at a time when the examination scores judge success. That is why many people the parents, they take the concessions at the earlier stages, and after that they don't want it because they feel that if they get branded, or if they get labeled, later on they won't get admission in college, or percentage matters and all those things. But I think we are still stuck there. The success is measured by the marks that you score, and I hope that the new education policy will help us to move out of that also, because the new education policy looks like a very nice golden apple hanging out there, and I hope when it is implemented actually in every state, uh, it brings a lot of change in the education system. So if we, instead of working on an academic success syndrome, if we all start looking at education as an opportunity for development and creation of a better world for our children, I think we'll make a lot of headway. You are asking about NIOS. NIOS is an extension of the inclusive education program in our school. Actually, it was just for that one child, who had epilepsy, and she used to take these drugs, and that had slowed her down. And in spite of like so much of effort, this child was not able to perform, and that created a lot of turmoil in the family. So seeing that, when I approached our head, Father Orlando, and said that, Father, let us start NIOS, maybe it will help, because we can't throw out these children after they are coming to the 8th. They are part of our school. So we need to give them another channel besides the state board exam. There should be another channel. So we got this accreditation as an extension of our inclusive education program. And there are children from our school as well as the neighboring areas. And I mean, we take about 300, for the NIOS. But all of them don't come every day to school. Only our students come every day to school for their studying the NIOS curriculum. So NIOS also gives all the concessions that the CBSE's board gives. And I feel that with the help of those concessions and with the help of the space that NIOS gives, 5 years time to complete, you may complete in 1 year or you may complete in 5 years, and also the choice of subjects. It is a very good system, but there also, I think the efficiency level of working needs to improve a lot. But I'm hoping that it will happen, because there are new people coming in, and they're also trying. So in short, When I talk of NIOS, I'm also looking at other forms of schools, regular schools, open schools, special schools, sports schools, art schools. So many schools are there. Why can't all of us work together? It's not only for the children with special needs, it's for all children. If all these opportunities are available and if we can exist together in harmony and cohesion, I think we will make every learner, every child develop effectively and be happy about learning.
Ma'am, there is a question by Nuna Rane.
Yeah.
Do all specialist children clear their board exam through NIOS, or have you had students going through the normal SSC board?
Most of them go through the normal SSC board because SSC board offers concessions and modifications. Only those who are not able to do in spite of those concessions, like they cannot do maths and science, or they cannot do some of the subjects that the SSC board offers, those people come into the NIOS. Or if they require more time, and NIOS even caters to children. There was a very good badminton player in our school who couldn't attend all his tournaments and also manage the school classes and exams. So he chose to come to NIOS because he could do both studies as well as sports. So that NIOS is not meant only for children with special needs, it's meant for everybody.
Yes.
And that's what I have to share, Manobina, in very short uh, ways. These small steps do add up to large big successes, and we must learn to celebrate these small successes and feel happy about it.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm sure our viewers must have had an enriching experience listening to you today. And I'm working on a similar path, but 20 years behind you. Would love to collaborate with you and learn from your experiences more again in future.
Yeah,
Any
sure.
concluding, any concluding comments, ma'am?
Concluding comments, I do. First thing is I want to say that teachers, all our teachers who are in schools, they also need an inclusive world. They also should not be told to do one size fits for all. Like I'm a
Yes.
little upset about this new TET, where lakhs of teachers are studying for an exam because they of the fear of losing their jobs. I wish I wish they had to do an ability test on UDL or inclusive education instead. Then they would have learned something new and also written the test happily. I know there is some 30 marks or something in that curriculum of the TET exam, where
Mhm.
they are asked to study about the philosophy of inclusion or a general idea of inclusion. That is a good move, but I wish they had been given the opportunity to do much more than that. And every school, I think, now requires, if the NEP is going to be effective the way we see it, every school, every teacher requires training in the universal design for learning and inclusive education. And inclusion is a very humane journey. It is about building relationships like I have built with you all of a sudden. And it's also about overcoming barriers. And I think in this journey, if we all get involved, we will definitely be able to fulfill that dream of a better world for all our children, where differences are accepted and celebrated, diversity is celebrated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Now, to my viewers, I'm sure all of you must have learned a lot from the fascinating life and work of Mrs. Vaithilingam. Please do share your feedback with us. See you soon in the 33rd episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. Till then, take care and goodbye. Thank you, ma'am. Bye bye.
Thank you, Manobina. Good night and God bless you.
Thank you, ma'am.